Welcome back to Cross Country. So as the president's polling continues to plummet on key issues, we wanted to know whether Americans felt they were sold Joe Biden's bag of goods. So we headed to Dallas, Texas to ask just that. Watch.
Do they feel like life is better off under Joe Biden?
No.
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 In what way?
Anyways.
Gas prices?
Absolutely.
Store food?
Everything. All that. The above. Yeah.
All that in a bag of chips?
All that in a bag of chips, yeah.
Do you feel like life is better or worse?
From when Trump was president?
Do you feel like your gas prices are better? Do you feel like...
I think they're terrible. I think life for Americans did a complete 180 since Joe Biden became president. Everything kind of literally went to all the promises that he made to us are not true.
Let me go to the Queen. Let me go to the Queen. Do you feel like life is better or worse?
I feel like it's worse.
In what way?
Because the economy is just we're in a war almost. We could be going to World War III, and he's not a good leader. Not in a sense where he might make good choices, but if I'm going to bomb a country and I see somebody as frail as Biden, you know what I'm saying?
So you don't feel like you're being taken care of right now?
No, I don't. No.
What issues do you think is impacting you guys the most?
Homelessness. I think there should be more regulations put on social media.
What about the gas price?
Gas prices. Yeah, I'm walking. It's hot. It's hot in Texas, and I'm walking. Okay, because it's so like it's reaching, $5, $6.
I can honestly say that a lot of the things that Trump was warning us about, we can see now. I don't think Biden's doing the best that he could for the people. I think he talks a whole lot, but when it comes down to actually acting or taking action, he doesn't. So.
No, it's bad. It is bad.
Did you expect that it was going to be bad, or were you optimistic?
I was hoping that with the Biden administration we were going to move on, that we were going to have an opportunity to sort of unite as a country a bit more and move on from the divisiveness. And I am disappointed. I did not vote for him. I did not vote for Trump. But I was hoping that he was going to govern the way that he ran, which was as more of a moderate consensus candidate. And I feel like he has caved in to the left wing of his party, and I think he's surrounded by some bad people in his administration.
Thumbs up or thumbs down for Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right now, maybe later.
Maybe he still has some time to recover.
He still has some time. He can do better. He should. Joe Biden, do better. We believe in you.
Joe Biden do better. Here to react is our panel, Joe Concha and Kevin Wallen. Thanks so much for joining me, gentlemen. So I want to explain why I went to Dallas. First of all, Dallas is home for me, but it's also very liberal. In fact, I did a quick search on the vote tally. Dallas County, Biden received 65% of the vote. I know people think that Texas is conservative, which it is in large part in the suburbs, but in the city, it's quite liberal. So Kevin, my question to you is, you got Dallas. He's lost Dallas when he got 65% of the vote. What is he going to do to turn this around?
Yeah, Lawrence, it's a good question. And listen, those voters are expressing, some serious frustrations in their everyday lives. And the White House needs to really focus on that. Obviously, the president said that inflation, especially with gas prices, are his number one domestic issue. And I think, we're 5 months out from one of the most important elections, this midterm election in the history of this country. And the president needs to be seen to be tackling these issues. He needs to talk about what the White House can do on the margins to reduce gas prices. There's not a lot of things, frankly, that any president, Republican or Democrat, can do. But listen, we're about to see record oil production into next year. We're almost at the same levels we were at 2019. We're now a net exporter of oil when it comes to gas prices, and have been since October. And the White House needs to stress that. But he needs to go and have a press conference at a gas station. He needs to say, this is what I'm going to do, and bring Republicans along in that process, because those frustrations are very real from those voters you talked to in Dallas.
Yeah, the problem, Joe, is that gas production, oil production is not gas.
Yeah, I think you'll see Adam Kinzinger at Mar-a-Lago before you see Joe Biden do any press conference, and particularly one at your local Exxon or Shell, right? It's just not going to happen. Look, here's what Joe Biden said as a candidate. Quote, "It's hard to believe this has to be said, but unlike this president, I'll do my job and take responsibility. I won't blame others," unquote. And this administration is being anything but straight with the American people, Lawrence, Kevin. I mean, here you had the president in Los Angeles this week calling skyrocketing prices on everything from food to gas Putin's tax hike. Quote, "We've never seen anything like Putin's tax on both food and gas," unquote. Here are the facts. The Russian invasion of Ukraine happened in late February 2022. Inflation and gas prices have been rising since January of 2021, 13 months prior. So for the president and the administration to try to pass the blame off on Putin is several flavors of stupid. And poll after poll shows that the American people are not remotely buying this excuse. And it's why he's polling in the 20s on his handling of inflation, polling in the 20s on his handling of gas prices. Americans overwhelmingly want energy independence, yet this administration is canceling oil leases in the Gulf of Mexico and off the coast of Alaska, and it still won't expand the Keystone Pipeline that it canceled 5 minutes into going into office. So I'll just leave it here. I'd love to go bowling sometime with these folks who approve of the way the president is handling inflation and gas prices. But that would entail, a few frames for Joy Behar and Jimmy Kimmel and the Lincoln Project. Yeah, no thanks. Better way to spend a Saturday night.
Who knew you were such a bowler, Joe?
So, Kevin, what about that, real quickly,
Yeah.
what about that spin, though? It seems like you continue to hear that from the Biden administration. Stuart Warney on Fox and Friends this morning on the show did a wonderful breakdown on when the gas prices started to go up, and it was right when Joe Biden was elected. So why spin that issue when the facts tell us something different?
Well, Lawrence, I mean, we saw coming out of the pandemic, we had cut production quite a bit because no one was traveling during the course of the pandemic. So those leases went by the wayside, and now we're kicking it into high gear. And to Joe's point, listen, we have been domestically energy independent for the last 6 months. We're a net exporter of oil and gas right now at this point. But again, that doesn't mean anything if Americans are feeling this crisis at the pump. We've got perception is everything in terms of politics, and obviously the White House has to kick it into high gear, especially about this issue.
You're exactly right, and if you're explaining, you're losing.
Joe, you're losing.
I promise you get to start the conversation the next time, brother. I owe you one. Thank y'all so much for joining the program.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.